Welcome back, folks, to another week of the Tiger Sports Show, where we give you a rundown of everything going on in Hastings High athletics. And boy, there's a lot to talk about as winter sports get started. Wouldn't you say, Trent?
Yeah, definitely. Tiger swimming events and the wrestlers opened at Kearney Invite yesterday, and then basketball had the doubleheader Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, you know what we really need on this show? We've got plenty of content. You know what I was just thinking we need on this show?
What?
We need theme music. We need theme music coming in. I'm putting you in charge of that.
What? Me?
Yep, you're in charge.
Oh, okay. I was just watching the history of the Cornhusker Marching Band on NET, which was very impressive.
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we just need the pep band playing Loyalty.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to work.
Very interesting show to watch. Learned a lot about the Cornhusker Marching Band, but this isn't the Cornhusker Marching Band show. So.
All right. It's okay though to make viewing suggestions to the people.
Yeah, it was. Well, I'll just keep going. It was really impressive. Finding out how the band song started was probably the best part of me, and that the Cornhusker Marching Band was a military band when it started, all male, around the 1900s. So.
Well, you can't say we're not a full service show here.
No, we're not. We give weather report and Tiger weather and all sorts.
All right. Well, we're moving into the winter sports season. We got a lot going on around the school. We were wrapping up fall, getting winter going all at the same time. And now, boom, winter sports started. And we're going to start talking about swimming. We've got senior Jay Ceperley to bring into the studio. Oh, and we've got Hayden Stephenson. Hi, Hayden.
Hi.
All right. We've got a couple Tiger senior swimmers here to talk about the season. Now, Jay, I'm going to go to you first. You guys had a quick start getting to swim in your own home pool twice this week. How did things go?
It went really well. We swam really well as a team. There were some very impressive swims at the meet, but there's a lot more season to go, and we can get those state times and hopefully shave my head in February.
Nice. I will look forward to that. I always love that part of the year. Hayden, can you tell us a little bit? I mean, we don't have the most sophisticated swimming audience over on our show. Tell us, how do you qualify for state in swimming?
So for the state meet, there is a set of time standards that are usually set pretty early before the season even begins. And there's a secondary time, which is like a preliminary. It's a really good time. It's a fast time, but it's kind of like the extras, and I'll get to that in a second. But there's the automatic times, which are the fastest times, which mean that you do get into, or you will likely be in the first 32 fastest slots. So there's 32 for preliminaries. And usually no event ever fills all 32 spots, just automatics. So that's where the secondaries come into play, and they take the fastest of the secondaries to fill in the extra of the 32 spots. And those swimmers will get to compete at preliminaries, and then the top 16 fastest of preliminaries will go on to finals at state.
All right, so you're basically competing against time all year long.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jay, let's talk boys team a little bit. Tell us some of the returners that we're kind of counting on and give us an idea. I mean, do you have a good idea what events people are going to be zeroing in on this year?
Yeah. We had the class of 2020 was really big for us. We had a lot of varsity boys leave, but even JV, our team has shrunk considerably from last year. But we have the next man up mentality here, and we will fill the positions on relays and stuff like that. So 2 of our relays on Saturday got secondary times to hopefully be able to go to state, which is really good. Another senior is Jared Ochsner. He's really zeroing in on that 100 breaststroke and the 50 free. and he's really close in those. Jacob Hawsey, a junior, is the 100 freestyle. He was extremely close yesterday on that as well. But people like sophomore Max Ferris, who just transferred here to HHS from AC, is our backstroker in the relay, and he's really stepped up and gotten a lot faster and helped us get that secondary time.
All right. Well, that's something that we'll be keeping track of on the Tiger Sports Show all year as you guys get those secondary times and hopefully maybe a couple automatic qualifiers, and we can see how that state team builds. Hayden, what can you tell us on the girls' side?
The girls this year are absolutely stacked. We have such an amazing group of girls this year. I don't think that we'll have any problems at competitions this year. Maybe not always getting first, but I think that we'll be placing really well this season. Our freshmen are just so fast. Some of them have been swimming for a lot of years. We have a freshman, Abby Lauder. She's going to be probably a more mid-distance swimmer. She's going to get stuck in all those tough events that nobody else wants to swim. But she already has a secondary in her 200 and her 500, and we've been at a total of 2 meets. So she really stepped up. She's dropped time. She swims on relays, and she kills it out there. Izzy Cerveny is becoming really good at her fly in practice, which she does on a relay. She does really well in sprint freestyle too, which we didn't really expect that coming into the season, but she has just really killed it at meets. We have Caitlin Moozel. She's another freshman. She stepped it up on Saturday and sprinted really well. She did 100 in the 400 free relay and did really, really good there. And then Diana is the other senior girl leading with me. She does really well always. She's a very accountable, consistent swimmer. She's always able to get those good times in. We've got some strokers in, like Lucy Fagot does really well in our IMs and gets those stroke points for us. Kara Kennard gets the 100 back. I mean, we are just absolutely stacked everywhere, and JV too. So I could go on and on, throw every single girl on the team and probably tell you how they're helping us, but that might take a while.
Well, that's awesome. Sounds like it's going to be an exciting year for the swimmers. Trent, you got a question here for the swimmers?
Yeah, I just did you both do junior swimming program?
Yeah, so we both swam club when we were younger, and we have the same coach for club as we do high school. So it's an easy transition into high school, and they make it a lot of fun.
So how big has the youth swim program paid off for the Tigers in the last few years?
It's been very, very good. We have a lot of good, talented young swimmers who will be coming up in the next couple of years. So definitely watch out for those swimmers coming up.
Yeah, that's awesome. I take my kids over swimming on Fridays, so I stand and look at all the records for the youth swimmers on the board over there while I wait for them to have their fun and do their thing and try not to get me wet. But I was just impressed when I see those records on the board from the youth swimming program. And I know we've known Scribners forever. So, and Coach Charles is one of the good guys. I really like him. So
he is indeed. Hayden, talk about Coach Scribner a little bit and kind of his coaching style, and keep in mind that he played for Trent and I a long time ago in junior high football. Okay. Tell us about Coach Scrib.
He's just an amazing coach. He really gets kids to buy into the program, which is just something that you don't really think of, like when you're talking about your coach, but like looking at programs that are really good and go to state every year, like swimming does. I mean, he just gets the kids to work on it throughout the years, and he's never one of those people who's super pushy that you need to get better, but he's also like giving you the little technical things to make you better over time. And he's really good at building up swimmers and helping you understand where you fit in, because I mean, the way that he's coaching at meets is everybody has a way that they can help the team. No matter if you think that you're the slowest, if you think you're going to drown, there's a way that you can help our team. And he's always going to be able to put you somewhere, whether it's cheering at the end of the lane, counting for a 500 swimmer, Whether it's swimming an event that you hate, he's going to make you help the team and he's going to make you feel good about doing it. So he's just an awesome coach.
That's
So-
great to hear. I'd like to take all the credit for that, but I tell you, Coach Scribner's dad was a great coach too, a football coach up at Trumbull. I always enjoyed talking to him about sports. You can tell Coach Scribb comes out of that coaching family. Well, Jay, I'm going to go last question to you. The people out there who want to keep track of the Tiger swimmers, what's coming up we should be looking for? What meet should we be watching for?
This week on Friday we're off to McCook for their invite. Then the week after that we have Kearney home duel, and then we did have a big invite in Lincoln, but that unfortunately got canceled. So now we have a quad at Kearney with Norfolk, North Platte, Hastings, and Kearney, and that should be a bigger meet with a lot of fast swimmers there. Big meets don't really come until January. With right now we have Lincoln High as a big meet. Also West Side is a big meet in Omaha. But also conference, people can, when they start tapering down and start getting more and more energy, they can really get some fast swims in there.
Hayden, I know that Lincoln meet was canceled because, of course, Lincoln didn't start winter sports. They are starting Monday.
Mm-hmm.
How else has the virus affected you guys and the things we've had to do this year? Anything else?
It's made swim meets a lot more crazy. With the precautions that we're taking, our community and the swimming community is being really good about how to handle this whole pandemic. And you wear your mask the entire meet until the second you get up behind the blocks. There's a whistle when you can take it off. You're socially distanced from the timers. We don't do flyover starts, which is something that normally we do, which is when the race that just finished, the next heat is able to start while the person is still in the pool. So we don't do that anymore. You have to leave the pool and clear the deck before the next heat can come on. Just a lot of safety measures, making sure that there's not a lot of risk. We had to walk around the whole facility, like going upstairs and around the pool area to make sure that there was a good flow so that we weren't risking too much traffic and any sort of virus risk. So it's been a lot of crazy changes, but I'm just happy that we get to have a season.
Exactly. And that's just another great example of the things our athletes are doing to be able to keep playing while not making things worse in our community. Hey, guys, thanks for being on, and hopefully we'll have you again later in the year. Hopefully about the time Jay shaves his head, maybe we get you back on. Good luck. Good luck to the Tiger swimmers, and have a great year.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
All right, Trent, those are two great kids. I have them both in class, and that's another thing, from Coach Scribb is he's going to have some high quality individuals going on there. I didn't know you were going over to the pool all the time.
Oh, I used to. I don't anymore. So I don't have a lot of fond pool memories from the pool that used to be in the high school building.
Yeah, neither you or I were really being recruited to be on the swim team. I don't remember.
Well, my only time in that pool was when I couldn't do the gymnastics upstairs. So they decided, let's put him down with the weightlifters, with the advanced kids in PE, playing water polo with the weightlifters. And I had to play goalie because I can't swim. And the weightlifter chucked the ball at Coach Olson, another Coach Olson reference, hit him in the stomach. He knocked the table off, falls on top of me, and I go to the bottom. And I'm like trying to scramble up just to live and not drown. So,
well, you must have done it. Makes you one of the greatest water polo goalies in the history of Hastings High.
Yeah, Coach O was hurting after that because the guy just hammered him and he knocked the table over. I was holding on to the side. I'm like, what are they putting me in the swim class for? So,
all right. Well, we're gonna go swimming highlights in just a little bit, but first, I think Coach Laux is ready to join us and talk wrestling. There he is.
There's Coach.
How you doing, Coach Laux?
Good. How are you guys?
This is a blast from the past because this is the first coach that I've known since he was probably in second grade and coached twice.
Yep. Hey, and you're off to a great start here at Hastings High. How'd things go over in Kearney Invite this weekend?
They went well. So overall, as a team, we took 5th. A lot of really good Class A teams there. Didn't bring a full lineup. Still got some guys that are a little banged up from football and things like that. So we're just kind of being cautious with that, kind of working them into it. But yeah, overall took 5th. I think I saw a thing that in Class A, this teams that were ranked 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all placed the teams that placed ahead of us. But individually, I thought we did really well.
Yeah, well, let's start. Let's talk about Hunter Anderson. He won a championship for you at 113 pounds. What was his day like?
Yep, it was really good. He came in today as a 3 seed. Ended up everybody in his pool I think he pinned everybody in his pool maybe. And then in the finals, he wrestled the guy from Grand Island, who's actually a 2-time placer. Beat us up pretty good in the duel last year. Hunter ended up beating him 11-9 in the finals. It was really cool. It was a big match for him.
What a great day for him. And what class is Hunter in? I lose track of the boys.
Yeah, he's 113.
But what is he a junior now?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I'm not good at keeping track of the boys because they don't win me any basketball games. Hey,
weight class.
Weight class, yeah. Hey, how about Landon Widener and Cameron Brumbaugh? Some pretty good
Landon actually he's probably in the toughest bracket that was there yesterday. I think the 1 seed was a state runner-up that just transferred in from Colorado. He's at Kearney now. And then it was Landon. And then the guy from Grand Island was also a state placer. And then the guy that Landon wrestled in the semifinals there was a state champion 2 years ago. Took 3rd last year in A. And we've had trouble with him in the past. I don't think we've had a Hastings wrestler beat him in a while. So Landon controlled the match, won 6-1. Again, a really big match for him.
All right, and I see Cameron Brumbaugh also did pretty well for you.
Yep, Cameron made the finals. In a semifinal, he ended up beating a guy from Papio, who was also a state qualifier last year. I think maybe won a match or 2 at state. Wrestled Marcus really close last year. So we knew that going in, that was going to be a tough one. But yeah, just overall, he had a good day too.
All right. Well, one thing I noticed about all those names of those 3 guys, I think I've seen Hastings wrestlers with those names before.
Yeah, there's been quite a few of them.
Yeah. How important is family in wrestling? I mean, it just seems to be something that there is always connections between brothers as they come up, dads, sons. Talk about that a little bit.
Yep, like for anybody that's been into our wrestling room, we have all the state placers and things like that from past years. And you look up there, you're going to see names like Anderson, Wideners, Kyles, Brumbaughs, all kinds of names like that. So yeah, I think it just, however they end up getting into it, when you got dads and stuff, they kind of get pushed into that direction. And then it just most of the boys will end up doing it. But even like I think about like the Kyles, Brandon just kind of one day my dad was working on him. Hey, why don't you come out? And then it kind of snowballed into everybody wrestles in that family now.
That's how you get them started. And of course, Coach Laux' dad led the Tigers here, and I remember watching him wrestle for the Tigers here. Coached you in high school. What's next for the Tigers? What's on the schedule that's going to be big and people should be watching out for?
So this weekend it'd be Friday. We go to Omaha South, which is usually a 12 tournament team. But with the virus, they kind of split it off. So instead of doing just a tournament with those 12 teams, they took 4 teams and spread them out. So they took all 12, put 4 teams at 3 different schools, and then just are having basically a quad for those teams that they put you with. So we'll go to Omaha Burke. We'll see Omaha Burke, I think Boone Central, and Omaha Benson this weekend. And then that following week on Tuesday, we have our home duel with Northwest. And then that following Saturday, we'll go to the Flatwater Frakes in Grand Island, which is always a big one too.
Yeah, really with the virus, they're just trying to kind of shrink the number of people at each meet. Is that kind of the idea?
Yep. So like Omaha South sent a thing out or whatever about like the number of people you can bring for your roster. But yeah, like at Kearney, they didn't really limit your entries, but they limited like parents, so you could have 2 family members there. Omaha South, there's going to be 0 fans, and they're just going to try to stream everything. So yeah, I think especially when we're in Omaha, it's going to be a little more strict on it.
I can see that. Talk a little bit. What do you think about the new district format where they've kind of divided districts into 2 weekends? How do you think that's going to affect things?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different. I mean, it doesn't change a whole lot for preparation wise, because usually where that sub district is state duels, so you're kind of gearing up for that anyway. So with the new format, there is no state duels this year. I think partially because they want to do the sub districts, but also with having duels and stuff that'll possibly get canceled, it'd be hard to get the right teams there. But yeah, I think it could be a good thing. Really, our districts aren't super huge as is. I think there's usually 8 teams, and you're taking the top 4. So we're splitting the district into, there might be more than 8 teams. I think there's like 10 or 11 maybe. But they're splitting the teams off. I think it's still going to be top 4 going to qualify in your sub district, and they'll take the top 4 from there to make it into an 8-man bracket, and then your top 4 will go from there.
Interesting. What have you guys had to do in the practice room? Are you guys having to do anything different in the practice room to try to manage the virus?
So just like small obvious things, like we have nobody uses really the water fountain. We have that kind of separated off. Really, with our numbers are a little bit lower this year, and I think most wrestling programs have been, from what I've talking to other coaches and stuff. Just kind of with that fear of the close contact and stuff. But some changes that we've made in the room is just really trying to get them specifically into smaller groups and kind of document who's going through. So that way, if we did have somebody, then it'd just be that group, which would be unfortunate. But then hopefully we'd still be able to send other people to get those matches. But like I said, our numbers are fairly low, so we're able to spread them out pretty good within the room.
Good deal. That actually works pretty well. Hey, I hadn't planned on asking. This might be a total curveball here. Where are we at with girls wrestling in Nebraska and maybe in Hastings? What's next there?
So I was really thinking that it was going to get passed this last year for it to be their own division. Yeah. But I think they passed it as an emerging sport, and then the vote to do it, it didn't go through. I'm thinking probably in the next year or 2 it'll go through. In terms of how it affects us, we don't currently have any girls out. We had some that kind of expressed interest in the preseason, but just I think thinking about having to wrestle the boys is kind of a big deterrent. I know in the past few years at the middle school, we've had 8 to 10 people that are out each year. I don't know exactly what the numbers are this year. Again, their numbers are a little down too, I think, with COVID. But I think that once it does get passed, I think we will start to get some girls out. And I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah, and we've had some girls. I see them showing up for the youth thing sometimes. We have some young girls involved, and probably really the NSAA is probably breathing a sigh of relief. You probably don't want to start a new sport this year.
No, that probably wouldn't go well. And the girls do. So like one thing that they do for wrestling, I think last year was the first year they did it. I think it's the first year. Instead of having like state tournament that's NSA sanctioned, they did a girls state tournament at York last year. And people that had girls, you could enter them in, and you could wrestle them in that tournament, so they get that opportunity to where they can wrestle other girls.
That's awesome. And that's traditionally how Nebraska has brought in new sports. That's how soccer started with state tournaments that weren't NSAA, and how softball started. Good grief, look at softball now. So that's how things get started. Well, Coach Laux, good luck to you guys, and we'll keep an eye on you here through the winter.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a great season.
You too.
All right, let's take a look at some highlights here. If my man behind the scenes, let's take a look at the swimming highlights. All right, there we are. Of course, one of the big things that's going on this year is streaming, because not a lot of fans can be in, and so we're doing a lot of streaming. Both swim meets from over at the YMCA were streamed, and I don't know, Trent, doesn't that pool look a lot shorter now when you look at it on this camera?
Oh, definitely looks a lot shorter.
Yeah, I think we've got a little optical illusion here. but it's great that at least this is hit in a year where we have these capabilities. By the way, that's Jay Ceperley in the fourth lane from the bottom, who we had talked to there. I'm not swimming literate enough to tell you what. There's some freestyle going on there. All right, I know a little bit.
Then you got Coach Scribb at the bottom. He's encouraging him to keep going.
Yeah, you can see him doing work there. Yeah, there he's excited. All right. Well, the Tiger swimmers had that double duel with Grand Island Kearney on Thursday, I believe, and then the Tiger Invite, one of the opening meets of the year. Norfolk came in and won that both on the boys and girls side. A strong program year after year. And then I think we've got some wrestling highlights too to take a look at. All right. Is this looks like Anderson, don't you think, Trent?
Yeah.
Hunter Anderson?
Yep. 113. Champion. Hunter Anderson championship match at Kearney.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, he's just out strengthening him.
Yeah.
A near fall there, though I'm no wrestling referee. All right.
He's up 8-7. I just saw the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah, I see it down there.
Third period, so it's almost over.
Yeah, another reversal there. I know that signal from the referees. I don't know a lot of them. And like Coach said, this is a state qualifier from Grand Island, a kid who's had a pretty good run. So a great start to the season for Hunter.
11-9.
Well, as we finish watching Hunter a little bit here, that's over in that new Kearney gym. Yeah. All right. Well, a good start for swimming and wrestling this weekend. A pretty good start for basketball. What'd you think of the basketball you saw this weekend?
By the games Thursday against Seward, both teams got big wins to start the year in a great way. Your team, the girls, I was pretty impressed with the way they played defense and just got after them and stuff, and they pulled away at the end and got the big, I think it was 53-29. So it's always nice to give up less than 40 points. That's one thing I keep track of.
Yeah, a big win for the girls. I thought we played pretty well. Seward, a team that's given us some trouble last year, got the best of us, even though I thought we were the better team. Here we got some highlights. There's Mackenzie Long, played really well. Mackenzie, and there's Daisy Seeley. They had 17 and 16 points. There's a steal. Is that Delaney?
Yeah.
Delaney Mullen really came in and gave us some instant energy there. And that's Maddie Hilgendorf hitting the three. So we shot the ball well. We defended well. We were a little shorthanded. There's Mac with a steal. A little shorthanded, and honestly, I maybe rode him a little too hard. I know Mac and Daisy and Maddie all played 29 minutes plus, and kind of showed the next night against Crete a little bit. There's Mac. She went off late with a few three-pointers in a row.
Yeah, and then Delaney had 9, was your third leading scorer. First basketball game in a couple of years for Delaney. So,
yep, a heck of a softball player coming out to give us some help there. We really shot well from the free throw line. The girls were really focused on that. I came into the locker room, and KK Laux, who was sitting out the game, already had the math done on the board of how well we had shot from the free throw line. So the girls are really taking some pride in that. Things didn't go as well at Crete on Friday night. Like I said, looking at the film, we were a little tired. So we've got to address that in a couple ways. Number one, we got to get everybody back and going and healthy. We had a couple people out on Thursday night, and then we got conditioned a little bit more, and then I kind of challenged the girls, toughness wise. I thought when we had a little trouble, we didn't respond quite the way we needed to toughness wise. But I have all the faith in these girls that they'll get that fixed. There was really a string in that Crete game, Trent, where it was a 3-point game and we had the ball like 4 or 5 times. And we just need to get a bucket or two, get it back to even, start trading buckets with them. And we just couldn't get a bucket. And a lot of times that's tired legs.
Yeah, and then Crete's at least one state title defending champs. They're big, and they got big guards. And I thought you competed well with them.
Well, I wouldn't say we competed well, but we've got some things we can fix, which after first weekend, you always want to see what's going on. I think we would have liked to have made that a closer game and felt like we had more of a chance to win in the fourth quarter, because I think the girls, that's the kind of team they want to be. So we'll be excited. We've got some tests coming up in the next couple weeks. There'll be a chance to do a little bit better against one of the top teams. Hey, let's talk boys' side, though. What'd you think of boys basketball? They picked up a couple wins.
Yeah, they had 2 wins. They started with a close game with Seward on Thursday. No returning starters, only Jacobus and Whitty, and of course our favorite quarterback QB1, Mr. Cynic. They were the only ones that really had any playing time. So it was just a great start. I love their hustle and their grit that they play with. Coach Danielson's got them all ready to go. We need to put a pedometer on that guy. I'd like to see how many steps he's getting, because either that, I'm going to count how many times he sits down, because he's just full of energy. It was a close game, and they pulled away at the end. Got the shots to fall in the second half. And then they go play Crete. It's on statewide TV, at least for people with cable. Crete, no returning starters too. And here's their video.
Yeah, little highlights from that Crete game.
Gabe Garcia.
Yeah, Gabe Garcia. Trent, I don't always know the boys so well. Like I joke, they don't win me any games. So I'm out there watching the fourth quarter, and Gabe's just going nuts.
Yeah.
Threes, and I'm like, girls, who's the floppy-haired guy?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's Gabe. He's great. He's been here, and he really played well. And to me, he typifies what you've seen out of Coach Danielson's teams. Just high energy, exciting, and always attacking the rim.
Yeah, Garcia, G square. He has 4 huge threes in the fourth quarter. Cynic sort of took over the game. It was tied at halftime. Cynic drove to the basket like a madman. He's just that great athlete that we know he is. He's QB1 to all of us. And that sort of opened things up for Gabe. And Gabe's a shooter. He's a chucker, like he's close to my heart. He's a chucker. He's going to keep shooting. He's not afraid to shoot. And that opened things up.
More of a shooter than a chucker, really.
Yeah. He's a shooter. I'm a chucker, but that's fine. So that opened things up for Gabe, and we got some kickouts. Whitty got going. And I just love the way they play. They play hard. And then the Jacobus kid, we talked a lot about him in football, the bus. The bus takes his talents to basketball. We saw a couple of plays there. I just want to know where he got the moves from, because those are some big time, and he's not afraid to go to the basket either. So
he hit a great reverse layup late against Crete. Just a great effort. And you're right, they really put that ball in Cynic's hands in that second half. They're running a lot of different isolation plays where they would get him the ball, and then they might isolate Whitty for him to get it to Whitty once he drew help, or get it out to Gabe. And just lots of guys. Austin Noward out there, a very senior-laden team.
Yeah.
For a team that were like, a lot of people around town are like, I don't know who do they have to play, because we had so many seniors last year. But it's just great to see so many great Tiger athletes waiting in the wing to step up, and that's an exciting start.
He's mix and matching on defense. They play a little man sometimes. They've been in the 2-3, which gave Seward fits. on Thursday in the second half. They went to the 3-2, which got a little trap going. They got some late steals and some layups off that. So he's mix and match in defense with the athletes he does have, and it's just a huge start. And we were joking with Coach Danielson that we would get him on the show after 2 wins. I didn't think it was going to take the first weekend, but that's great for him.
I thought we said 20 wins.
Oh, 20 wins and not 2 wins. Okay.
No, we'll definitely have to get him back here talking about the Tigers. I think for those people who aren't watching live, I think when we stream this on the internet, put it on the cable, I think we'll run both the girls and the boys Seward games. What do you think about that, Trent?
So we're going to show the games afterwards?
Yeah, don't you think? The Seward games would be good. Normally, I would show the Crete games because they were on the road. But I actually think more people had a better chance to watch the Crete games Friday night and on the Nebraska. What do you call that, Nebraska network?
Nebraska's NCN.
NCN.
So, Nebraska. Oh, News Channel Nebraska.
News Channel Nebraska. Well, I think maybe more people had a chance to watch those, so I think we'll maybe put the Seward games up. What do you know about next week with the boys? The boys have Alliance and Gering. You know anything?
I know Alliance won the Western Nebraska Conference tournament. They beat Scotts Bluff. Should be a tough handle, but we'll see how the new stuff goes. But you don't have to go out there, so you don't have to travel. So that's always a bonus.
Yeah, we did that last year. We barely made it home.
Yeah.
Blizzard hit us pretty hard. We were hunting for highways out there between Alliance and Ogallala, and there ain't a lot of places to pull over and get help out there.
Nope.
Unless you want help from some buffalo.
Yeah.
Girls have Alliance 2 on Friday night, have Gering on Saturday. As I look at those teams last year, Alliance was super athletic, super long, super tall, and not very good at basketball. They just did not have a lot of skill. Now they've had the same coach. They've turned over coaches like 3 straight years in a row. Finally, they've had the same coach for 2 years. I expect their basketball quality to be improved quite a bit, and we know they have good athletes. So we think Friday night is going to be a challenge. And then Gering's a team that just plays fast, Trent. You're going to like to watch those girls play. They play fast.
I remember from last year. I watched that on the internet. They were running and gunning, and then Daisy got going. So,
yeah, that was a big night for her. Well, we'll see how that goes this week for the Tigers, and swimming and wrestling carry on. And then I think today we got our all-state team. So tomorrow or next week we do the all-state show, Trent.
Yeah, we got volleyball today, and football should come out right before the show next Saturday. So excited to see those teams come out with and see what Tigers made it.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of people honored a lot of different places. I don't really have any records for most honored, but when you add our softball players into what we're going to get on that football team, and had a top 5 cross-country runner who I think is going to be an all-state candidate, we're going to have a lot of honorees this year from the fall sports season.
Definitely. It was a great fall, and we've had a good start to the winter, and we'll go chase some W's this week with all 4 teams and try to stay healthy and keep moving towards Christmas break. So,
all right. Well, I think that wraps it up for us, Trent. You get the last word always.
Well, we just say go Tigers. Let's go get some W's, as Coach Shue likes to say. So,
all right, go Tigers. Thanks for watching, folks.